with some practice and with giving yourself a chance to become better. So my purpose is to encourage you to get better and better. And the better you get, the more confident you are in your presentation. So once again, as the oral training 2 students, in this class, you have done an excellent job, I have to say. This is also almost an equivalent of an oral training 4 class that I teach in the past. So by the time you get to the oral training 4, you should be no problem with passing oral training 3 and 4, because that's exactly what you will be doing in 3 and 4. And so now, you all have a good purpose statement. I think about 90% of you also have a purpose statement. But sometimes the purpose statement is not very clear. So I encourage you to remember that there are 2 parts in the purpose. The 2 parts in the purpose statement are: one is that you want to teach us something or you want to tell us something. And 2 is that why we should listen to you. So you have to state those 2 parts, right? Let me show you an example here. Purpose: to tell you the significance of the weekend. So you have some ideas for your next weekend fun. All right? This is also from one of your classmates' topics. All right? So that's what the purpose statement does for us. Then, after we know what's your purpose, we go to your outline. What is the outline? We are also very familiar with the outline. All right? And an example of outline is something like this. Now, this, which some of you, actually most of you forgot last time, so I'm going to make it a required PowerPoint, is that you're going to give me a list of the vocabulary that you're using from your book. And you can take a look, if you don't know, you can take a look at page 135 to 136 of your book. There is a list of vocabulary for every lesson in your book. So you can check page 135 and 136. You can check it now if you have your book. Take a look at page 135 and 136, and there is a list of vocabulary already given to you. You can just use those. But you have to be using those vocabulary in your speaking. It's not just put it there and not use it. So you will give me an English, short English meaning, and a Chinese meaning. So example of it is this one. For example, drama. All right, that's the meaning in Chinese, and I am trusting that you know your Chinese, so I can check that. But some explanation, like stories with the high stakes and a lot of conflicts. Drama is that animation is like a cartoon. Action is fighting and chasing kind of movie, and so on. And then you talk blah blah blah, and then you come to summary. So this is another slide that is required. So this is another slide that is required. Summary. And this summary is at the end of your presentation before the conclusion. This summary is going to be very, very similar to your outline. It's about what you just told us, and it shouldn't be more than 30 seconds. And then there is an example. So now I like to go through this show, which I wanted to explain this. Now let's see how this happens if I want to use the show. So I said today I'm going to talk about how to make your PowerPoint for the midterm, and remember you have to wear formal, and that if you miss the midterm, there is no makeup. We will start the class at 1 o'clock, and you can change the date if you want, and make sure you upload your presentation on time. Remember that the hook is a must, but the PowerPoint for the hook is optional. So if you want to put the PowerPoint for the hook or not, that is optional. You have to have the first page. The first page has the topic, your English name, the student ID, and which unit from the book. This is the example of a first page, right? Another example of the first page would be something like the example here. So we have the ID, the name, and a topic that we chose ourselves. We gave a name ourselves. Then you have to have a slide that says purpose. And the purpose has to have two parts. One is what you want to tell us, and the other one is why we have to listen to you. For example, this one, to tell the significance of the weekend so that you know how to have a fun weekend. Then you have to have an outline. You are very familiar with the outline. I don't need to explain too much. Example of outline, it would be something like this. And in this order, you will also make your presentation. Then you have to have a vocabulary list, and there is a list of those on page 135 and 136 of your book. You give me a Chinese and English. So this is an example of a vocabulary list that you will use during your presentation, all right? Then you talk, then you come to the end. At the end, we have to have a summary right before the conclusion. You tell us what you just told us. It looks very much like an outline. So here is, for example, an example of a summary. This could be exactly like it was on the outline. So you just tell us. Then you have a conclusion. Conclusion is what you are thinking about what you just told us. Your own thinking, your own conclusion. For example, watching movies is not only for entertainment, but also can be a good chance for you to learn something new or some knowledge. This is your thinking, right? And then you have a thank you slide at the end. Thank you slide, it just can say thank you. You can say thank you for listening. This is correct. Thank you for your listening is not correct. I still heard some of you saying that. Sometimes I had chance to write it because it's time, but sometimes I didn't have the chance to write it. So make sure you know the thank you part is the correct English. Now, this is how the show would have been. So if I time it, and like I said, I was a little lazy, so I timed all the slides the same time because I wanted. But if you want to really do it for yourself, then you can go and time each slide depending on how much you know, you need to know. And then your timing will be perfect. If you're going to be 4 to 5 minutes, you kind of have to keep up with that pace because the slide is changing. So you will not be too short, you will not be too long, right? As far as the PowerPoint format that I have seen, but I have to say also is excellent. So for maybe except for 1 or 2 cases, I didn't see any PowerPoint that doesn't follow what I have asked you to do. As far as the font size, the clarity of the PowerPoint, the format of it is also all very good. So keep up with that. Unless I did circle for you something related to your PowerPoint, you shouldn't worry about the format of the PowerPoint. Just make sure that everything is in there. So let me see. Do you have any questions about what I just told you twice? One time a little slower, one time a little faster. So what do you think about the midterm? Anything to worry? What is the topic for the midterm? What is the topic for the midterm? Choose. Right now you have a choice to choose any of the topics from the book. Now, after midterm, we will keep on practicing with presentations, but the final exam is not going to be a presentation here. Your final exam is going to be a video presentation. So you will record your video and upload the video. This would be what you have to do eventually at the end of oral training 4. So oral training 4 they will ask you to, is a must, to make a video, and you have to give as a requirement, you have to give to the department. That's a graduation requirement for every student in in foreign language department. So we are practicing for that. So after midterm, we will have one more practice presentation in here, and then we will start practicing making presentations and the videos, so we will learn how to deal with that, because that's a different skill. Not only you have to be good in presenting, but also you have to be good in editing videos and making sure that your sound is clear and so on. So generally, you don't need to have very complicated software. You can use any kind of software, even the PowerPoint can record your voice. If you want to do that, you record your voice in the PowerPoint, and then you can save it as an MP4. It's doable that. If you want to do it like on the Teams or Zoom, you can record yourself on Teams and Zoom, but then you have to edit yourself if you made a mistake or something like that, or just take away the extra parts, or you want to add something fancy. That would be something you can do. That I leave to you. But this is another skill you have to learn, how to make a video presentation of yourself. Because in the future, the job market not only asks you to send them a resume. That is the ancient way. Nowadays, if you want to look for a job, if they are interested in you, they will ask you to send a video resume of yourself. So you have to be able to make a video presentation of yourself, your skills, blah, blah, whatever it is. So you have to be familiar with editing some kind of software, how to make a video presentation. Especially after COVID, now still, even though we've become very healthy and the world becomes in peace, I think we have changed. Life has changed after COVID. A lot of meetings still happens on the Zoom or on Teams. A lot of companies still prefer to have their employees work from long distance. And a lot of interviews happen from the videos or in the long distance. So when you are going to go to the job market, there is a 50% chance that your employer will ask you for a video presentation, a video resume of yourself. And generally, it's about 2 to 3 minutes. It shouldn't be a long one, because they don't have time to watch it, all the things. But it's a video presentation of yourself, so you need to be able to also work on that. Now, let me see if you have any